Hi everybody, welcome once again to Out of the Ordinary into the Extraordinary. I'm Robert Taylor.
And I'm Pamela Hill Taylor, and we love to bring you guests that are uplifting, enlightening, inspiring, and entertaining.
Ah, it's a wonderful list you got right there, Pamela. That's fantastic.
Wonderful guests we got today.
Yeah, we do. Two Nancys.
Two Nancys, spelled differently, one an astrologer and one a psychic.
Yes, and we're going to learn all about astrocartography.
Yes, the science of relocating, which people need now
Especially,
in Michigan.
yeah. And then a whole fantastic session I'm going to have with Nanci Rose Gerler from Ann Arbor. So don't go away, we'll be right back.
Okay.
So we're back with a great guest all the way from Ann Arbor, sometimes in Florida. She's been on the show before. She's a great psychic. We'd like to welcome Nanci Rose Gerler to the show. Nanci Rose.
Thank you for having me here.
Hey, pleasure. So it's been a little while since you've been on.
Indeed.
And, you know, maybe we're up for an update in terms of your psychic gifts.
Oh, thank you. They're always accelerating. I've been told that I was gifted with all the psychic gifts plus, and I have the opportunity to continue developing them, you know, with each client.
Yeah.
And every single person being so unique, it calls forth different abilities.
Well, maybe you can tell us how it all works, and especially, you know, people work with different mediums. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you work.
Well, I work pretty uniquely. I use crystals to focus and clear, but I don't use any other divination tools, whereas some people use the tarot cards or you use the sacred yantra.
Yeah.
And but I am, you know, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and an empath.
Wow.
So it means that I see visions on my inner screens or symbols. If I'm getting information on past lives, it runs like a movie. And, you know, I have to get through to the end. You always have to find out what happened and see how it relates to the current life and what the relationship is. Clairaudient means that I hear things internally, and my joke is, if I don't hear voices, I'm out of business. And sometimes a line of a song will come in just to perfectly illustrate a point, and, you know, out of popular culture, you know, it's like an encapsulation of an idea. And being clairsentient means that I feel things in my body, you know, and we all have that brain in our gut, that inner feeling.
Yep.
But, you know, kind of a clutch in the stomach is a definitive no. And other things that just give me that sense of whether it's a positive and negative approach. And being an empath, I can actually feel what other people are feeling. And I sometimes, you know, it appears that I take the words out of people's mouths or minds, but I don't read minds. I really read on a vibrational level. And I pick up information on individuals by their full name and date of birth. I don't do astrology like some of my esteemed colleagues like yourself and my dear friend Nanci Ballman, who will be on as well. But I certainly respect it as an art and a predictive tool. And it's like multi-sensory modality happening all at once, and quite often I get more input than can come out of my mouth, no matter how quickly I speak. So it's a pretty amazing process of getting the information. And, you know, I work with the guides that work with the subject and give illuminating information to help people on their path in life, whether it's romance, finance, education, career, moving, what have you. And
fantastic. Now, you don't have to be present with the subject, right?
No, I do phone readings as well.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a one-on-one thing. You can be, sometimes you're down in Florida.
Right. And I keep in touch with a lot of my clients via phone. And it's amazing because we know that telepathy, you know, it has no bounds.
Yeah.
And I've definitely, especially lately, you know, if I think about a client or even a friend 3 times, I'll call them, but, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. I was going to call you, ... And that kind of synchronicity happens all the time.
I had a friend I used to work with all the time in England, We hadn't seen each other for about 20 years. And I'm driving home one day, and he comes in my head. And he hadn't contacted me, nothing, no contact. Got home, turned on the answering machine. There was his voice.
Exactly the point, yes.
And I think, pretty much when he came in my head is when he left the message.
By the same token, my dearest friend from actually kindergarten lives most of the time in Cambodia. But I can always tell when she has come to the United States. I feel her energy whenever she's here. I'll call up her mom and say, Janet here. Oh, yeah, Nance, I'll call her.
Wow. Now, when did you really start to experience those gifts?
Well, I had these gifts to some degree in childhood, and so did that best friend who's also a Scorpio, whose birthday's 5 days beyond mine. And because we were best friends, we'd go out and play with the fairies, and so I always thought everybody else was just the same, and we all do have psychic gifts. We're, I say, it's the sixth gear that they don't tell you about because you might just, get out of control there. But I started consciously developing them 22 years ago.
Yeah. And it's quite extraordinary for somebody to have developed all those different clair things, Some people are clairvoyant, some clairsentient, some clairaudient, but to have all of those, that's quite something.
Well, I consider it, just a gift to serve others, and whatever way it comes in, I'm here to help. I got my undergraduate degree in psychology, and my joke is I took my psych degree to a different degree.
And many times those psychologists, without knowing it, they're psychic intuitives.
And very empathic, yes.
Yeah.
And, they also have that will to serve in the helping profession. But being the daughter of a clinical psychologist and having gone through that education, at that time there weren't a lot of the humanistic modalities that are now, and it seemed like it was such a long and expensive process, for it to have efficacy. And even though what I do is not therapy, I have had people tell me that one session with me was worth more than several months of therapy.
Yep.
And it can have intrinsic value for people, and also a lot of validation for their intuition and their path and their own knowing.
Yeah, because they might say to you, oh boy, that was exactly what I was feeling that I needed to do.
Exactly, but sometimes it's that neutral third party, so to speak, that gives them that validation, that's the encouragement to go on in that path, whether it's an educational career path or a move elsewhere, etc.
Of course, you do get those people who don't do what you tell them, and then they call you up and say, oh my gosh, I wish I'd have listened to you.
Yes, that recently happened with someone that I advised not to invest in a major building, that I saw that there were a lot of problems with it, that she went ahead and did it anyway, and now rues the day, and it's causing a great deal of strife and tension. And of course, in this market, she can't exactly unload it either.
Exactly. Wow. Well, maybe you could do a little demonstration of your gifts. We're going to have subject A and subject B. So you can start out with subject A.
Oh, very good. Hold on just one moment. Let me just tune in a bit. Well, Mr. Taylor,
you gave it away. Yeah.
Now, what I'm feeling for you, you already have this lovely show and one method of communicating, and you've written a book, and I'm seeing that there's a third thing in this triangle, and I see you doing more public speaking and sharing your knowledge and the lifetime of what you've accrued being on the spiritual path. But I also see you taking it back to your homeland across the pond.
Ooh, good.
And I would say this trip should be by or in March.
All right.
And there's a center there, and very near Avebury, I believe.
Yep.
A spiritual center that's really coalescing and coming together and utilizing the positive and ancient energies there for the kind of upliftment and shift and transformation of the planet. And you may go there, you know, thinking you're going on a visit, but you'll end up speaking and sharing and being involved with this group in kind of bringing up a spiral of new energy there.
Wow.
And positive energy. I think that Britain, much like here, is experiencing some economic downturns
Big
and a
time.
lot of dissension. So people need to know that there's purpose to all things, and to everything there is a season. And I think you're going to bring that message in a way, and you know, it might also turn into a book tour over there.
Oh, thank you.
You know, over time, not immediately.
Thank you. I need to pay another visit, you know. Go see my dad.
Absolutely. And you might think that you're going there for familial reasons, but
Yeah.
it turns into something much broader
Well, I
and
even
deeper.
already know something that you're right on the money, so.
Oh,
yeah.
well, good, because we haven't discussed it.
Yeah, no? Yeah. So how about subject B?
How about subject B? Let me tune in on that. I see a lot of changes for subject B. Probably coming towards the end of the year, the first of the year. May not be immediate, but there's going to be possibly changes in residence and occupation or avocation. And also a lot more fun coming into the life.
Oh, good.
I'm also feeling around this person, they don't already have a pet. There might be a pet coming into the life, a little furry companion. And around the furry companion, too, a romantic companion.
Oh,
So it feels like subject B right now feels a little bit like life is on hold and waiting for things to open up. And might be a little bit of like kind of being perched on that doorstep, and no, it's not a precipice. It might feel like a precipice. But you know, right now it's a little bit of the seeing what's going to be ahead and having the patience for the unfoldment of time to bring it forth. There might not be, you know, manifestation and fruition of some of these goals till into the early part of the next year. But I see all the changes as being positive, despite the fact that there might be some, you know, some preparation and some work that goes with it, might bring a little frustration, but ultimately really positive. And then opening up for the next year, up until May of next year, a lot of new horizons and a lot of personal growth and expansion and a lot of pleasure and fun.
I want to thank you, Nancy. It's always a treat to have
Thank
you on the show.
you.
Maybe you can give us your phone number again,
Well, I can be reached at 1-800-996-8799.
and we were showing it on the screen.
Yeah,
And if you-
24/7 voicemail, but leave a message, your call will be returned.
And we will get back to you with her number if you missed that. You can always call us right here at the War Memorial at 313-881-7511. Don't go away, because we have another great metaphysical guest with Pamela.
Welcome back, everybody. And we're here with our second wonderful guest. Welcome, Nanci Ballman, to
Thanks.
the set.
It's great to be here.
We're so glad you could make it. You are an expert in a particular area of astrology that is probably needed by a lot of people in Michigan.
This is the first time in history when we've had more people leaving Michigan than coming here. For decades, the situation was people coming to Michigan for jobs, and now we have sort of the opposite situation because the economic climate and industry changes and things. So astro